I just renewed my membership in Florida Sheriff's Association, and of course, when you mail it out, you gotta make sure you put a big Confederate flag, almost like smiley face, on the back of the envelope. Because one thing I got a problem with is I'm not 100% sure how much the sheriffs in each state, and I think it goes by an individual basis, how much they are against federal encroachment. I know there are a lot more, states' rights and people's rights and constitutionalists when you're talking about southern states. Florida's actually kind of like, Florida's like one of the states where the further you go north in the state itself, or the more you go to the center of the state, the more south it gets. On the coast and the south, it's not that south, it's not that Dixie. But what I decided to do was, just put this video out as kind of a reminder, because, one thing I've noticed in Georgia, Tennessee, and a lot of the other states, but there are some really good sheriffs in Florida. There are some. Depends on the county. Depends on where you're at. Like I said, freedom is not free. I'm not somebody who's really big on a lot of rules. I can tell you that right now, man. I can tell you, I'm pretty much real laissez-faire. I really wouldn't mind having it like this, Cooter for president. But when I'm looking at, if the federal government gives the state some money, it's like, the state just acquiesces, and that's it, right? You know what I mean? That kind of annoys me, because you see, the money controls everything. I don't care what the hell you write down on a piece. Well, the money and force controls everything, but money controls the force. You can buy off the force too, right? And the only way to actually stop that is you got to have very honorable people. And usually what happens is the most honorable people get slammed the most. Even the people that do the most work in an organization, whether it's the military or the police or whatever it is, the ones that get tasked with the dirtiest jobs, these get retasked with their dirtiest jobs, because it's easier for the guy above them to just give that guy that same job again, because they know, that guy could do it. And what I'm worried about, though, see, Florida's kind of like on the edge of the South. You go to the southern tip of Florida on the coastline, it's not really the South. But then again, you could say the same thing about areas of North Carolina. You could say certain areas of Texas are like that too. But what kind of gets me is that, when I support a sheriff's association, I expect them to support the state, not just support any kind of law that comes out of the federal government, no matter what the hell it is. Like back when Obama was president, I remember there was a whole pile of sheriffs that came out against Obama on a lot of issues, and they formed what was in Arizona was called the Constitutional Sheriff's Association. I know in the South they always talk. It's kind of like a cliche, Well, I guess you got corruption I tell you what, New Jersey, New York's got more corruption than the South. It's just that it's not as obvious up there. But even Roscoe P. Coltrane was a constitutionalist. He wanted the money, but he was a constitutionalist. What happened is they screwed him on his retirement. That's what happened. That's how he got in there with Boss Hogg, anyway, according to the TV show. But it's like, I wish there were some strings attached to the membership. Like, in other words, as a matter of fact, probably, you'd really have to coordinate that with every single member that's the member of the Florida Sheriff's Association that's, not a sheriff, to say, hey, we want to make sure that you guys are constitutionalists. So if, the UN decides by treaty to do this, and, they give money from the federal government or the United Nations for you to acquiesce to some law or something like that, and it's against the people's rights, hope you don't enforce that law. Like, I'm back in what the hell was it? 1973 or something like that, around that era, when Nixon passed a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit in Arizona. You know, all the truckers are up in arms over that because that was costing them a lot of money. It's trying to save fuel. It's just a stupid example, but you know, the Arizona state police and stuff, they just ignored that law. They just said, "To hell with it." See, that's what I'm hoping the Sheriff's Association does down here in Florida. You know, regardless of what type of federal encroachment comes about, because, you know, I put back on this envelope like this for a reason. You know, I'm hoping that, you know, maybe it's not. I think it's true with some sheriffs, but not all of them. You know, down in Broward County, obviously that was a sheriff that wasn't somebody that's a constitutionalist. But then you got in Polk County, there's a sheriff that is a very high, you know, I hold in high regard, that did all his investigations and arrested all those people from Disney and stuff, man. That was good. That was really good. So, you know, it's just like I wish there could be some strings attached to anything, because even if it's just a Word document, you know, we the people are supporting the Sheriff's Association because we're supporting, you know, fair and equitable laws in our state, and not to be influenced by globalists or socialists or collectivists that might get in the White House, or maybe they're running out of the United Nations or something, or Brussels or something in Europe. See what I mean? When you throw some money at some people, I think Roscoe P. Coltrane is, I know he's a character in a Jimmy Best, but you know what I'm saying is, when you throw some money at some people, you know, they'll bend. That's what's a little scary, you know. It's pretty tough to be a constitutional sheriff, I can tell you that right now. But, you know, that's the only reason I'm supporting the Sheriff's Association, because in hopes that they stay very constitutional. Over and out.